Boots comes in and says, Huff better not be Abraham 2.0. Come on, JD, pay up. I would totally be okay if Huff wound up being Abraham 2.0 because that means we got a decade-long offensive lineman that we all love. So for me, as much as I do agree with what Sneakers to Boots in theory is saying, I would take the 10-year offensive lineman that we love over where Huff is right now because we've already made the selection of Will McDonald, and that's more my thought process. Green Bean, I'll throw this one to you first. What do you think? What if Huff becomes Abraham 2.0 and we trade him to get the offensive lineman?
Number one, as much as I like Huff, I don't think he's John Abraham. So there's that, Sneakers to Boots. I think the sentiment of what you're saying, I totally get it. But like Ryan said, I mean, if we should be so lucky to trade Bryce Huff and get an 11-year Hall of Fame level center, I'm going to be okay with that. The difference, too, is that we have pass rushers on the team right now. When we traded Abraham, it was because we were switching defenses and Mangini didn't really have a spot for him, that whole thing. And or was it Yeah, forgive me, but it was a defensive change and some other things, and the fact that they were pissed at him and all that. But it's like, we didn't have anybody really to speak of. It was a different, like it left a vacuum. Huff leaving, it sucks, but I wouldn't call it a vacuum right now. I mean, we have studs sprinkled around that defensive line, both on the interior and exterior. So I think it's a little bit less of a hit right now. If there's a time to do it, it's now. That's it. I don't want to trade Huff. I like Huff. And I think it's, it sucks that the Jets seem to be, one of the only teams that when we get good players, the only way we can get the capital to round out the team is to trade them. Like, we just don't know how to draft, build, develop good players and then stack on it with good players. We don't know how to do that. We need, we have a hole. We have no second-round pick. Well, why not? We traded for Aaron Rodgers, but now we got to trade an edge rusher and, to get that. But we need an edge rusher to trade up to fucking 5 spots in the first round to get the position that we need because we suck and we lose the last 2 weeks of the year every year. And, it's like all this stuff. Like, can we just have good players, pay good players, and bring in more good players? Like, why can't we do that? Everybody else seems to be able to do that. So it's aggravating nonetheless. But, yeah, I don't know. I think if there's a time to do it, now's the time to do it.
Matt, trading Huff and having him become Abraham 2.0, would you do it?
No, because you're adding in the Nick Mangold pin.
Of course.
Yeah, no.
That's part of the Abraham trade. You traded Abraham. You got the offensive lineman. If you could, I don't know. Like, you have to hinge it on something because just trading away Abraham, yeah, it doesn't feel as bad because you got Mangold. So if you trade Huff, I mean, even if it's not a Mangold, if you got a player that you liked for the next 10 years, is that worth it, or is Huff more valuable right now?
I guess that makes it worth it, but I don't want to live in a world where we have to trade our good players for seemingly no good reason.